Alright guys, so I made this video today at work, but the kind of video came out pretty crappy, so I thought I'm just gonna do it at home. So this video, it's obviously mostly for beginners, just to give you an idea. And it's a shift option. It's also known, or you can find it in end unit. So usually when you make a program facing OD turning, drilling, whatever, it's especially on I think Matrix. I used to work on Nexus, actually on Nexus 640. I didn't have to put end unit. I think I worked on a couple of machines that I didn't, but on the newer generation you actually have to do. So when you put an end unit, there's a couple things that you have to put in. First is like, do you want to continue, and do you want to count the parts and such. So what the continue option does is allows you to have 1 0. So obviously that you're going to setup option, you're gonna set your 0 over there. And for example, and I made this let me see, and I made this kind of drawing for you guys. And imagine, okay, and let's just say this is your stock over here, these are your jaws, okay. And for example, you're doing washers, let's call it that your washers. So let's start this. Your OD material is 3 inches. Your washers with the cutoff are gonna be 1/2 inch, okay. And your material sticks out from the jaws to the part 8.5 inches. So technically out of this material you can get 16 pieces, and it gives you 1/2 inch clearance before you hit the jaws. So the clearance is also really important. And remember, this is very, very important, especially once you start doing undercuts and such, is that when you use this option, and in the beginning when you start to describe your materials, so it's gonna say, you know, maximum material, for example. So if you have 3 inches, I mean, you could say it's like 3.5 inches, 6 inches, it depends. That's just gonna give the machine an idea how far to retract before it's gonna head to tool position, or, you know, whatever you send it to. But don't put it as a 1/2 inch. So if you do 16 parts, which is gonna accumulate to 8 inches, do like even 9 inches. Because previously what happened with me is that I think I was doing like 7 inches total, and I put like 5 inches as a total material on the first line. When I was doing the inside chamfer, it would actually come out inside of the material, and I didn't understand why. I actually called the Mazak, and that's what it came to. So the total material size or total part, when it comes to length, just always add extra on top whatever it accumulates to. Okay, so we have 1/2 inch, 8 inches, right, plus 1/2 inch for clearance, so that gives us 16 pieces. So what you do is on the end line, it's going to ask you, do you want to continue? If you don't, you just want to do like 1 inch, like one part at a time, you know, you'll say 0, which is no. You put 1 as a yes. Then it's going to ask you, I think I forgot if it's a next one, it was how many pieces or part counter, but it's going to ask you how many times do you want to continue. So in this scenario, we'll say let's continue 16 times, and then it's gonna ask you, and I forgot how much to shift, so that would be shift 1/2 inch. Don't do minus half an inch because it's gonna start shifting the other way. Do half an inch. So that way what's gonna do is it's gonna do this part, okay? And it's gonna finish it. Let's say, you know, you're gonna cut it off. You can drop it in the basket and whatnot. And it's gonna shift and it's gonna do this one. And it's gonna continue doing these things for, 16 times. And then it's gonna retract. The thing is, you see when let's say when it drills the bars, the machine comes actually here, and then let's say on the last part you'll see it always goes in the middle, retracts, so it doesn't go like, retracts like 200,000, 40 or whatever, and then just go home. It actually retracts to the 0 position and goes home. So that's how you actually are able to use the shift. Doing multiple parts without you having to pull the parts out or keep shifting like manually or like adjusting your setup. So technically that's what the shift does. Now this is another trick, not a trick, I mean but for somebody that is a newbie maybe, or and your boss is pressing you on time, so it's like an extra bonus information. It's, for example, you're doing a washer. Okay, washer is 3 inches. Your ID is supposed to be 2 inches. Okay, and then you have a drill. Let's say that's 1.6 inches. That's the biggest, for example, drill. Or maybe you have a smaller machine that it's gonna have a hard time to drill with 2-inch drill or smaller. So what do you do? So normally, for example, you'll go and you'll face from 3 inches down to 0, okay? And instead of that, do the drill first, okay? And like same thing, so when I did my washers, for example, I drill first, and then instead of facing from 0 to down to from 3 inches down to 0, you only have to face from 3 inches down to, if your drill is 1.6, you can face to like 1 inch and 550, for example. Now your tool doesn't have to travel all the way there. So do the drill first and then face it. If you do like a high volume production, that's it saves seconds on each part, but like over time it's gonna accumulate, and these things matter. Like I said, if you have a boss or a manager that's pressing you, for example, that you're supposed to do, you have very limited time to do a machine part. There was this part also when the thing with the shift is there's a lot of uses for it. I was doing this part, and first I turned it, and let's say it had a bunch of sprockets, okay? Let's say there's 10 of them, 1 inch between each section, right? So once my shaft was done, all my turning is done, I made a separate unit. I saw, so the turning was, I finished it with the end, and then what I did, and the sprockets, let me see if I can get them. There goes my artsy. Kind of looking a little crappy, but pretty much all around it was just bunch of sprockets. So I came in and I kind of use a end mill. So I end mill, that was a taper end mill. So I kind of end mill pretty much to the sharp point. Then I came in with another radius end mill. I got the radiuses that they were calling for. But the thing is that there were so many units of from milling that, from what I remember, I think it was like 70 or 80. Obviously, I don't want to do 80 for this one, 80 for that one, 80 for this one, 80 for that one. It would be just way too many lines, and probably I would have to get into a sub-program. So what I did was I created one complete program for a single sprocket. Okay, so let's say there's 10 of them. Same thing. You go, you know, I set my 0 starting point as here, and then what I did was I went into rand unit and I said continue, yes. How many times? 10. How much to shift? 1 inch. And then the machine completed this sprocket, jumped 1 inch, this sprocket, jump 1 inch, this sprocket, and continue. So like when you have a grooving option, for example, so in a groove, in a groove, if you pick, let's say, for example, 1, you have an option that's like what's your pitch, so you can do multiple grooves and stuff like that. But like when it comes to the turning and milling, when we did it, for example, if you have a, you know, like something like this and whatnot, and I made a kind of video about this, you can pretty much go and do this, and then you can go to repeat how many times and then shift it, and that's all within that particular unit or a particular option. But when it comes for turning, we don't really have that option. So shift option is like I said, it's pretty useful for a lot of times, for a lot of things, and it's what it does is just it relieves you from creating like additional units. It saves time and pretty much and kind of simplifies a lot of things. And you know, the less units you have, the less chance for you to make a mistake. And what do you call it? So you know, like I said, like to me, it's a really useful option. So yeah, it's, you know, it's a pretty basic things, but I got a lot of positive feedback from like my videos, and I'm always glad to kind of help. Like I said, sorry I don't have the computer in front of me, but what do you call it? But hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys see everything. You can hear me clearly, and like I said, the unit, you really only have 1, 2, 3. You have 3 options plus the program last one, so it's pretty easy to remember. So continue, how many times, how much do you want to shift, and pretty much, and you know, you have to go. So try it on, see how it works, and hopefully, like I said, somebody kind of gets some benefit out of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.